I'm Caroline Koenig, and today I'm here with Center alum Mary Quinn Ramer, and we're going to be talking about the power of yes, embracing new opportunities, and how that can lead to success.
Good afternoon. It's good to be with you.
Good to be with you too. You want to tell us a little bit about where you're working, when you graduated, and what you love about Center College?
Well, we have not nearly enough time for me to tell you all the things I love about Center College, but as you mentioned, Mary Quinn Ramer, class of 1998, so just had a big anniversary last fall, which was a lot of fun. And I'm currently the president at Visit Lex, which is the tourism and destination marketing organization for the city of Lexington. There are so many things that I treasure about my time at Center, but I will just mention a couple for the sake of the interview. I love studying abroad. I was in Strasbourg with Dr. Riegelman, who was an English professor here at the time. I really appreciated the opportunity that I had in my classes. I was a history and a French major, and I had some phenomenal teachers that really helped me become a very strong writer, critical thinker. And of course, as an alum, I love just all the many connections that you have with the beloved Center Mafia. And those relationships run deep well after you're out of school. So that's been a great blessing in my life.
I can completely agree with you about all of those things that I currently love about Center as well. But I would love to know what you mean when you tell young professionals to embrace saying yes to opportunities.
So I think often about my mindset when I was graduating from the college. And, of course, at age 21, 22, you think you have a whole lot figured out.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize, several years later is that the world is full of opportunity. And one of the main things that I'd love to encourage young students about is that openness to yes, and realizing that be it a job opportunity or a meaningful professional connection, an opportunity to be a part of a civic or charitable organization, all of those opportunities present themselves in many different ways. And so I always encourage students to stay curious and to be open to saying yes, even if the invitation is perhaps not something that you would have expected, or not even maybe necessarily thought, oh, I'd like to do that. So much good and so many blessings can come from putting yourself into situations that may feel a little uncomfortable, a little out of your norm. And so I love telling people, say yes.
I love that. I think that's such great advice. And I would love to know, how has that played out in success in your life?
So in many ways, actually, when I graduated from Center, I had the opportunity as a student to work in the communications office. I was randomly assigned that job as a part of my work study program. But it was actually the time that I spent in my work study job that really launched what has become my career, which is a career in tourism here in Kentucky. And I remember graduating and thinking, okay, I don't feel like I'm quite ready to go to law school. I'm not sure about getting my PhD in history. That seems like maybe it might not be my jam. And so I thought, well, I've been doing this work in the communications office on campus. Maybe I could get an internship doing work out there in the real world, and was very fortunate to land at an internship my senior year with a small agency over in Lexington. And the firm that I ended up at for my internship became my first employer. And I know, so serendipitous. And I learned so much from my time working at Preston Osborne, the name of the firm, because we represented many different clients. And so I had clients that were part of healthcare and utilities. I had clients that were in real estate, clients that were in the sort of tourism hospitality space, event planning. So I just got exposed to so much. And I think part of the mentality that I like encouraging young students along is to say yes to those opportunities, even if it doesn't seem like it's part of a larger plan. Oftentimes it can be the very stepping stone that gets you to exactly where you're supposed to be. And so from there, I went from the small agency into the tourism space, and I've been there for the last 20 plus years, really feeling like it's a perfect place for me to be, the opportunity to impact quality of life, to tell a great story about Kentucky, which is a place I love dearly, and to obviously help create a lot of really wonderful memories for folks as they're, traveling and visiting our city. So.
Well, that's amazing. I am so glad that that worked out for you. But I would also love to know, what challenges have you faced when you've said yes, or that students might face in general, and what advice you have for them?
Well, I think it's a great question, because we know that every situation, can present challenges as well as opportunities. But I think oftentimes the challenges can be great teachers. Mm-hmm. May not necessarily be the teachers that we want, but they are important in terms of advancing us into a more thoughtful, more strategic, more critical thinker. So I say, when you are faced with a challenge, give yourself the time to actually feel the emotions, whether it be shock or anger or resentment or any of the sort of natural things that seem like, oh no, how could this be happening? And then after you've run through those emotions, step back and really look at the situation and say, okay, what in this can I learn from? What in this is salvageable? Mm-hmm. What in this is presenting me with perhaps a different path forward, but not necessarily a lesser path? And I think if you can allow yourself the opportunity to sort of reframe and come back and look at challenges, you'll often realize, like, oh, there's actually great learning in this. Mm-hmm. That is not to say that there aren't things that are just really hard, but I think it is in those moments that we end up doing a whole lot of growth. And even though growing can sometimes be a process and can have some pain along with it, it's usually always worth it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a beautiful thing that Center instills a lot of resilience in us with the challenges that we face and the growth that we see. So thank you so much for that. Do you have any final thoughts or advice that you would love to give to Center students or young professionals who've just graduated from Center?
I think I would say two things. Number one, stay curious. It's always rewarding to be a lifelong learner. And so even when you're sitting in my seat many years past your time at Center, there's still plenty to learn. And so just stay curious and be willing to ask questions and engage with folks in a way that allows you to continue that process. And then also to show up. Mm-hmm. It's quite simple, but more than probably 50% of what I have been blessed with in my career has been virtue of me showing up, putting in the time, making the relationships, cultivating those relationships, and then allowing all of that to work together for good.
And so, since you give such good advice, how could Center students be able to reach out to you if they want to ask for more?
Well, the young folks at my office tell me I'm not cool enough really to be on TikTok, so you're going to have to resort to more conventional routes. Mm-hmm. For example, LinkedIn is a great place to find me. Also, if you go to the visitlex.com website, my email is linked there, and I love staying in touch with Center and always delighted to talk to Center students, so feel free.
Perfect. Feel free to reach out and connect with her and gain more wisdom. So thank you so much.
Thank you.